a couple of days ago, I was writing this shell script to change my color schemes for me in DWL. But the major problem that I ran into was the fact that I had to recompile it, exit and re-enter DWL to actually see the changes happen. And so that was a very big problem for me. So I thought, why not Window Manager hop again? So I decided to hop on to Xmonad at first, which is an Xorg window manager, and I don't really care much about what window manager is, but then I came across Qtile. Now Qtile is an awesome window manager because it's available for both Xorg and Wayland. That's the first time I've seen a window manager ever do that, and you can see that it's written and configured in Python. So that's something that I really like about the window managers. For example, Xmonad is written and configured in Haskell. DWL or DWM is written and configured in C. And Qtile is written and configured in Python. So right now if I go to my Qtile config, which is not much, it's a very messy config. I'm just gonna go through here. This is inspired by DistroTube's Qtile config. You can see that it's just regular Python, and if you know a little bit of Python, you'll be able to configure this very easily. And one of the great Qtile features is the fact that it comes pre-installed with a bar. So by default, Qtile has this very simple bar on the bottom, and of course you can change the position to be vertical bar if you want to, or top bar. And the bar is just this empty bar, and the way you customize it is by adding all of these widgets. So right now if I go to my Qtile config, let's just go through here from top to bottom. So first we just have our imports. This is basically adding features to a config, and I'm looking forward to a thing called Qtile-extras, which is basically a whole bunch of extra features for Qtile that I can import here. And the way you do auto start is very simple. You just add this thing which I got from the documentation. That's also another reason I switched to Qtile, because Qtile has one of the best documentations I have ever seen in a window manager. It's so awesome. It just does a deep dive into literally everything in the configuration file and how to use Qtile, the default key bindings. Everything is here in the documentation. And so in the documentation they said that you can just add this, so that we can go to the .config qtile autostart.sh, which is where you add your autostart programs. And the way you do this is pretty simple. It's a shell script, so you just add your programs and in there so that they run in the background. And then I ran some stuff here like my Emacs daemon, my SWW daemon, that's my wallpaper setter. And I have some stuff like the XTG desktop portal to get some screen sharing working, and Xwayland. So right now if I run Emacs, which I need to run the daemon first, I don't know why, but it keeps crashing for some reason. But you can see that Emacs daemon is running right here. So I have all of that. I even got Xorg Xwayland working, which is basically this thing that makes X11 programs run under Wayland. So this is a X11 program called NSXIV that I used to set my wallpapers. So let me quickly change my wallpaper, why not, right? And the configuration is massive, as I said. So I can just go to Qtile config again. And you can just extend this however you want to. And since this is Python, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can hack on it however you want to. So you can see that I have this import here that imports my color scheme, and right now I'm using the Dracula scheme. If I want to, I can choose the one dark scheme. Now the reason I did this was because at the beginning of this video I said that I was writing a color scheme changer script. So I need to have this thing right here to change my color scheme. So you can see that we have one dark here. I also have many other ones. Let me actually go through the themes directory, which is where I stored all of my themes. You can see that I have Node, Dracula, Growbox, Monokai, Oceanic, Next, One Dark, IO Dark, Material, Pale Night, and Solarized. So I have all of those color schemes there, and we can actually just go to those color schemes just to show you what is actually happening. I can turn on rainbow mode to show you a little bit better. You can see that it's just setting these variables in Python, And then how I call them is that if I go to the config.py and let's say go to my bar here and let's say go to group box, then you can see that in the active color, you can see that I just do call colors and then whatever color I want. For example, gray, or maybe the background color, stuff like that, right? It's pretty simple to understand this configuration. You can set stuff like your fonts here, all of that. Qtile also has thousands of layouts. You can add thousands of layouts. So you've got like the monad tall layout is what I'm using here. It's basically the standard DWM master stack layout. It's my favorite layout. You also have the max layout, which is sort of like a full screen layout, and then you can switch between your windows, like the monocle layout, right? You also have stuff like the columns layout, which I can enable if I want to. Although I just have these two enabled, I just use monad tall all of the time. And I also have this bar config here. This is the one that I spend the most amount of time on, and I'm planning to turn this into a powerline bar sometime, so you can add powerline effects in here. Now Qtile has a whole bunch of built-in widgets for the bar. If I go to the built-in widgets section, you can see that it's got a widget for basically everything. It's got one for the window name. You can also have a list of all of your windows instead of just the current window. You can do all of that. You can have an image, which is pretty surprising. That's the first bar that I've seen have support for images. So you can see that I have this little Python image here because Qtile is a Python window manager. So I thought, why not, right? That's also inspired from distro 2. And your workspaces are actually called groups. That's kind of weird, but it is how it is. And I can add styling for the workspaces that have a window open in them, and the empty workspaces, stuff like that. And we have the prompt widget, which is basically a built-in feature for Qtile that allows you to run a program. For example, let's run Wester. It also has a tab complete, so you can see how I can type in West term and it will tab complete for me, and it will run that program for me. And that's pretty much it for the bar config. This is pretty easy. You just add these functions, I think they're called, and then you add certain options. All of this is in the documentation. I just read the documentation for a couple of hours and I was able to get things figured out pretty quickly. And a lot of the widgets are built in, which means that I don't need to add any custom widgets at all. So of course I can run a separate bar like Waybar if I want to, or Polybar on the Xorg side, but this just works perfectly, right? And you have the key bindings as well. My key bindings are kind of messy because I'm not organizing these at all. You can see that this is where my custom key bindings begin, and they are pretty messy. And I'm also looking forward to the scratch pads thing, which I haven't tried out yet, but I heard it's pretty cool from the videos I've watched. And Qtile is a really awesome window manager. I believe everyone should try this out because it's so cool. And I'm gonna be living in Qtile for a while now. I'll come back to DWL a lot probably, but I haven't been having many problems with Qtile, other than maybe Emacs sometimes crashing. But other than Qtile is so great. The fact that you have both a Xorg and Wayland window manager is super cool. And a lot of the other stuff in the config here is just the default one that I have. So you can see that we've got all of these default configs, stuff like that. And I'll be extending this config a lot. I'm just a Qtile beginner. So if you are a professional in Qtile, then drop down any suggestions in the comment box below. Anyways, that's it for now. I'm gonna leave and see you later.